God brought me through surviving ketoacidosis. Okay, so you could check out the part one. I'm trying to build up to the story. You know, I tell way too many details. That's just how I am, girl. And either you love me or you don't, right? Either you love it or you leave it. Not a me, it really don't make a difference. But if you gonna stay here, then let's be clear. So you love me or you hate me, so whatever. Okay, and you know I tell team way too many details, right? Because I'm a storyteller, girl. Okay, so day two being out of ICU. Okay, back to the Chicago trip. So I first, upon getting to Chicago, got a stomach bug. Puke, 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 puke. Then I'm out in the snow, a Floridian out in Chicago snow. Okay, so now, upon going home, I stayed 2 weeks in Chicago, right? And upon going home is when the day before, actually, I didn't feel no more symptoms. I thought I was doing good, but my lips were so dry. My mouth was so dry, and I had that taste in it. And then my eyes felt like somebody, like they were just powdered eyes, like powdered donut eyes. That's what they felt like. So I'm thinking it's because of the cold weather, you know, everything is getting dry and stuff like that. So the day going back home, it started out with, you know, I'm caregiver to my sister, with my sister having a seizure. Already off rip, and she hadn't had seizures for months. And she's a person that has seizures, several seizures in a month. So for her to go months without seizures, but because she was excited by being in another state, being in Chicago, even if she doesn't act like it on outside, her body is excited, right? So she had a seizure that morning. Okay. I'm like, wow, why on travel day is she having a seizure? When she has one, the pattern, she's going to have another. So upon getting to when my aunt dropped us off, to the terminal, my aunt and uncle, they dropped us off, helped us with our bags, left them right there. We get our stuff inside. As soon as we get into baggage claim, which we were supposed to call the people to come help with my sister, bring a wheelchair so that at least she doesn't have the potential of falling. She's in a wheelchair if she goes into seizing. Before they can get the wheelchair, she right there, as soon as they were checking the bags, she seized. So me, I did whatever I had to do to stop her from hurting herself. She comes out of seizing. My sister has this medical thing that kind of shocks, and it's supposed to kind of stop the seizure by shocking. It's a little bracelet thing, and she swipes it, and it kind of gives a little shock, and then she should soon come out of the season, right? That happens, but after she comes out of season, she goes, blah, she pukes. So then the lady at the baggage claim is like, oh, And then my little granddaughter, because she was watching my sister and that kind of grossed her out, she puked, my granddaughter. But I wasn't even puking. I was the one, you know, that was sick earlier prior. But my sister only puked because she just had a seizure, right? And then my granddaughter only puked because she was watching her puke and have a seizure, right? So it was a chain reaction. So the lady is like, oh, y'all ain't flying today. Y'all sick. Y'all ain't flying today. Y'all ain't flying today. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to get home. Because on that day as well, I don't know why, I was going to the restaurant. I was peeing. And it felt like every 5 seconds I had to pee. I could drink this much. I have to pee. Even on the plane, they serve this much beverage. Oh, I gotta pee 2 to 3 times for that. While we was waiting in the hangar, I drank a little bit of water from the water fountain. I had to walk all the way down there to pee again, come back, and then by the time I got back, I had to go back and pee again. So then my daughter's like, Ma, you gonna miss this plane? I'm like, no, they said 15 minutes. The plane was delayed. So I ran back to pee and then ran back to the hangar. And then upon getting, my sister is in disabled category. So, and my daughter had the babies. So my daughter was able to board right behind us. I was able to board with my sister, pushing her in a wheelchair through the little thing to get on the plane, get the seat. As soon as I got on the seat, I'm like, when is the best time to use the restroom? Is it now or in the air? And she's like, you can go now, because when you're in the air, you got to wait till they reach a certain altitude. So I went as soon as I got on the plane. So crazy. I went into the bathroom. The moment I went into the bathroom, after my sister sat down, I said, I'll be right back. She put her seatbelt on and she starts seizing as I'm in the bathroom. Like, the timing couldn't be more horrible. So I come back and she sees it and they're like, hold on, what's going on? What's going on? Y'all, and I thought they were gonna put us off the plane. They didn't put us off the plane. I was like, no, she's fine. See, she's back. We get in the plane, we reach the altitude, and I'm just holding it. I'm like, oh my God. And they hadn't even served beverage yet. So once they did serve beverage, once they reached a certain altitude, I'm like, oh, okay, I can have this much, right? It's not gonna, I drank that and I had to pee like a racehorse. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what the heck is this? And I'm stuck on a freaking plane in the air. I gotta pee every 5 seconds. Like, almost whether I drunk something or not. And I'm like, what in the world is this? So we had a layover. So on the way to Chicago, my daughter booked one where we had to change the plane 3 times. That was stressful too. This time it was only 2 to change the plane because she was trying to get the tickets cheaper. But nobody knew we would go through this many different health ailments, right? Just trying to fly. So we get there at the layover. I think it was in Texas. And I ordered cranberry juice because I'm thinking there's something there wrong. I done tried sparkling water. I done tried soda. I don't want no more soda, pop, whatever. I tried orange juice. Nothing was making me feel right. Water, nothing. So something say get Gatorade. At that last hangar, that layover, I grabbed a bottle of Gatorade, and I think that's what saved my life. I drank that Gatorade, and I did have to pee, but that's when I started feeling those symptoms kind of ease down. And then we got home, and then we got home really, really late. It was like after 12, 1, whatever, and I drank one more Gatorade when I got home, went to sleep. I woke up, and I didn't have that crazy peeing back to back, peeing. It started easing off. So I was like, oh, the Gatorade is what helped me. So I came back and I really thought I was back to my normal self. I thought that was just this horrible stomach flu that I caught. And somehow it reattached itself to me or something when I got back on the plane. And I'm good now. But weeks following, what I noticed was my hydration wasn't coming back. Because when I got back, I started Googling. I found out that Chicago at that time in December, mid-December, had an outbreak of stomach flu. Upon getting to Chicago, first day I catch the stomach flu. My granddaughter as well caught it because she was always up under me, but it didn't take her so bad, and she only puked a couple of times, and then she was good to go. She's only 2, right? Me, it did me bad, right? So I then I'm like, it felt like I was dehydrated, but I'm like, you don't get dehydrated in cold. We know about dehydration here in Florida because if you get overheated, the body can be dehydrated. And we always hear drink, and I work at a theme park, drink water. You got to drink water before you get dehydrated because here you just faint or whatever like that. Not saying that that's not big, but you get heat exhaustion, you faint. And I'm not thinking it's as horrible as, you know, it really is. It's horrible to be dehydrated. So upon doing me some Google search, I find out that yes, you can get dehydrated in cold weather. Now, the one thing my dad instructed us before we went to Chicago was to watch out for frostbite. He was like, you lose your nose, lose the tips of your fingers, lose this, lose that. But he didn't tell me nothing about I can get dehydrated. Nobody told me that. I'm like, I didn't even know that you get dehydrated in cold weather. But upon being researching and things like that, finding so many different articles, you can get just as dehydrated in cold weather as you can in hot weather. And the reason why is because you tend to have on more layers. You're sweating under those layers. But as soon as you sweat, the air is evaporating it. The cold air is evaporating it. I was also told, well, I mean, upon research and then later found out that when you're breathing out and you see those puffs of, oh, I see my breath, that's your hydration, your water out your body. You blowing the water out your body. So not only did I get dehydrated because upon more research, I'm learning that the stomach flu will dehydrate you. And further, I got dehydrated from the weather. So this is 2 weeks I went around dehydrated before I got home. Once I got home, I started drinking water and Gatorade, and then I was trying to find different ways to hydrate myself, finding out about pineapples and natural fruits that have hydration, the watermelons, and I was doing that, eating a lot of pineapple, watermelon, and but I still had that thirst. I still was wanting to drink. Like I literally didn't want to eat too much. I just want to drink and then eat my little fruit or whatever. That's how I ended up. That was my new habit from coming from Chicago. And I would eat a little bit, but it'd be very small portions. I didn't want to eat much at all. Still, no appetite like that. But I was eating the fruit to to try to help with the hydration. Okay, so I started losing weight. I'm just gonna be candid. I know people don't like to tell weight or whatever. And for me, I have a athletic build, so I'm very like I'm a sturdy woman, right? But then over the years you put on fat. So I got muscle, I'm strong, but I got fat layers over it, right? So even when you weigh me, I weigh heavier than you would think I do. So I was 248 pounds before I left Chicago. I mean, before I went to Chicago in December, I was 248 pounds. I am now 192 pounds. And once you see, I know 192 sounds like a lot, but when you see me, I look small for 192 pounds. Okay, so that's what I lost in 3 months, over 50 pounds. So I'm just dropping weight. And I'm thinking, oh, maybe it's because I'm drinking more water. It's almost like I'm on a liquid diet. I'm just drinking and eating my fruit. Every now and then I eat a meal. So I'm thinking I'm good. I still want to know why I'm not fully hydrated because the nasty taste left my mouth, right? My eyes no longer feel like powdered donuts. But it's still I didn't feel quite my regular self. So I knew I wasn't fully hydrated. And then there's also the pinch test with your skin. You could pinch your skin and see how hydrated you are, or if you're getting dehydrated, because the skin is kind of stay pinched or whatever. So I knew I wasn't still fully hydrated. So anyways, it's the annual, and you go to your doctor once a year. So and I'm also trying to figure out how can I hydrate myself better, because what I'm doing is either taking too long, which people kept telling me, and even healthcare people were telling me that everybody rehydrates in their own time. So it takes some longer than others to rehydrate. So I'm thinking some type of way I will rehydrate myself. I'm not thinking I'm going to stay in this state of dehydration. Okay, so first thing they're going to do is they took all the questions, like regular annual questions or whatever. And they gave me a script to go get blood pulled. That's a thing you do each year, whatever. So get the blood pulled, which when the doctor gives me those scripts, I'm gonna be 100% honest, because they always give you a follow-up date, right? You always have a date to come back into the office and talk with them or whatever. And so usually I don't go get my blood work till closer to that date. Some reason, see, this is when the Holy Spirit is leading you and you don't even know that he's leading you, but he's leading you because you're doing some stuff you don't usually do. The day that I got that blood work, I went, because there's where I work, they have a healthcare facility there on site. I went there, they do blood. The doctor I was going to doesn't pull blood. So I'm like, let me go over there and get my blood done now, so I don't forget about it, it don't get away from me, and I just get it done. Went and got the blood drawn, and I go home. I'm like, I'm good, whatever. I'm going back to my regular stuff. I'm steady losing weight. Everybody's now starting to notice, and they like, girl, you look good. What are you doing? I'm not doing nothing. I don't even know why I'm losing this weight like this, but I'm losing weight. Okay. And I said I'm dehydrated, and everybody's like, dehydrated? I never knew dehydration make you lose weight, like, but it did. It made me lose weight or whatever. So people like, oh, I want to be dehydrated, I want to lose weight. I'm like, no, this is not fun. You don't want to be dehydrated. Keep your little hydration and whatever. Okay, so the blood work, Marcello, my husband, if you on this channel, you know that's my husband and I advocate for. He's wrongfully incarcerated, but that's not really this video. So he calls and he's like, where's the results from the blood test? Did you find out, like, why blood work? Are you finding out why you're dehydrated? And they're like, no answers, but they had me go do the blood work. So like, well, what's the results? Because they told me they should have it within a week or so. He wants me to call back directly. I'm like, huh? They'll get back to me when they get the results. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, no, you need to call and find out what was the results of the blood work. We need to get you back hydrated. Okay, so against my will, I'm like, okay. And he's like, promise me. I was out with the kids. You know, I'm always out and about. I'm out with the kids. I don't want to fool with that. So I get the voicemail and I'm like, oh, at least I did what I told him I was going to do. I was going to call the doctor. I did call the doctor, and now, you know, I completed that so I could check that off, but nobody answered. So he's like, call back. And I'm like, Marcello, like, they'll get back to me. So I finally get somebody, and the person at the desk is like, I said, well, what was the results of the blood work? Because I never got any call back or anything. And at this point now, it's been 3 weeks. Never got a call back. And they're like, what blood work? And I'm like, the doctor, upon leaving my annual exam, he gave me blood work. I went out the same day, got the blood work. Y'all should have the results. And she's like, I don't see nothing here. I'm like, okay, that don't make sense. So I'm like, okay, so let me go back to, though the on-site place does the blood work, it is sent off to the lab place, the lab, company. So I'm told that the doctor shows that I'm like, y'all pulled my blood, so where's my results? Y'all asked me for my doctor's name that day, which they had problems pulling my blood because I was dehydrated. The phlebotomist was like, yeah, the blood's not flowing like that, so you are dehydrated, severely dehydrated. So then she gets back to me and she's like, we don't have any results. And I'm like, y'all took my blood. Like, I know y'all did that. And she was like, yeah, it's not us, it's the lab. It's not showing in the system nowhere. So they don't know what happened with the blood. It's gone. I'm like, that don't sound right. That sound crazy. So she's like, okay, well, I made an appointment, but it was an appointment for something completely different, right? My annual woman exam. But they couldn't see me for an annual woman exam because they had to establish me as a patient, which I'm like, I should have already been established as a patient because I was here last year. I've been coming here. Y'all been doing my blood work every year. Matter of fact, find out they did my blood work last year and I never heard nothing back then. But see, I wasn't on top of it. It was Marcello that was like, get your blood work. So last year I didn't get nothing. And I'm under the assumption that, oh, if they didn't call me back, I must be good. Because usually they call back people that when you're not good. So I'm thinking I must be good. They didn't call me back. This is last year, right? So when they didn't call me back this year, I'm kind of in my back of my mind thinking I'm good. But Marcello's like, no, you need to get these results or whatever so that we can get you back rehydrated. So then I find out later why they didn't contact me back last year. Well, they said the contract that was with the old company, they switched and did entirely new company, and for some reason that old company never contacted me back. Don't know why, but that's kind of a reason why they don't have the contract now, is what I heard, right? So she's like, well, we can pull your blood now. And I was like, but I didn't fast. I fasted for the first one that they lost. And she was like, yeah, I know it's going to change some of the results, but initially what we're really trying to find should still kind of stay the same. And I had drank orange juice. I think I drank like two cups of orange juice, glasses of orange juice. And then I ate a little bit of food, maybe a little piece of egg. I still had no real appetite like that. So crazy. If we could change the past. Now I see the patterns, the bad patterns, but you don't see it when you're living through it. That's why I'm telling this story, right? Okay, so she pulls the blood thin and she's like, hopefully we'll get you some answers, we'll get you rehydrated, this, and this. So I am the type that be running, trying to do 1,000,001 things. So I get backed up on my voicemail and stuff like that. So I missed the results when the doctor called me when the results came in. So upon looking through my voicemail for another missed call, I hear an alarming call. There's some abnormal labs and we need to talk to you. You need to call in. I'm like, so that completely alarms put you on edge because they can't talk to you over phone. So you don't even know what's wrong. And you're thinking the worst. And it's just crazy. That's Mr. Marcello there. Okay, so I'll stop this part right here. I'll follow up because this is getting a little bit long. All right, here's your girl Cadillac.